Hello everybody and welcome here in GSRL, where tonight it is Tier 1 in Paul Ricard in France. Tonight there's not really close in terms of the championship standings, but nevertheless, considering it is Tier 1, you will always get some great action-packed content here live on Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, you should follow us over here. You can also follow us on our TikTok, Global Speed Racing League. And you can also go ahead and follow our GSRL Oceania Twitch, which of course is only live in Oceania races. So if you're able to stay up at around 3 a.m. to watch some Aussies battling it out, then you can do just that. You can also follow us on YouTube, I believe. I might be wrong with that. But you can follow us over there, if we do have an account. Going into this round 16 of 20, I want to say, 20 or so, the standings are as follows in terms of the top 3. Top 10, actually. Pavelli, P1 with 284 points, has done a fantastic job so far in the championship battle, with Stealth being in P2 with 188 points. P3 is Soft Floppy with 177 points, and from then on, it's Cot 5, Vessel, Justin, Haley, Feister, Triple, and also Adama. Going on to the constructors, Aston Martin, 386 points on the board so far in this season, with McLaren behind with 237. The Haas Racing team, though, having 227 in third. And from then on, it is Alpine, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Williams, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, and Merc in last. Speaking of the Paul Ricard circuit here in France, what does it consist of and why is it such a challenging track? Well, it's a 5.842 kilometre track. It's got 15 turns. Its first race was held in 1971 and it has a massive straight going on to a chicane where many overtakes using DRS are inbound. Thing is, with Paul Ricard, you've got to be so careful on the throttle. One of the most trickiest turns on this circuit, at least I've experienced going through time trial, is in that first turn. Going on to that left-hander, you can easily go off the apex. It's very tricky to go side-by-side through there, and if any two cars are brave enough to go side-by-side through there, we'll definitely flick through to see if there'll be any contact. Another turn to mention is, in my opinion, the last turn. You've got to be very gentle on that throttle. If you just put a little bit too much down, you will tend to spin. And also, it's the exact same with the long progressive right-hander going on to that massive straight I was talking about. Now, a long right-hander, you've got to go at half throttle, half of that turn. If you go just a bit above that half throttle at the beginning of the turn, you will spin out instantly. Our drivers here, very talented. They usually make little mistakes. Are these going to be one of the very few tracks to give them said mistakes? We'll see very shortly as we will load into the qualifying session, which is a short qualifying session, yet again, very shortly. So, like I just previously stated, we will have no practice. We'll go straight into the qualifying session, which is a short qualifying session, which lasts around 18 minutes. And then going on to the 27 laps. Of course, it can range from around an hour to 2 hours, depending on how many safety cars are brought out on track. The lower down the tiers are, the more likely there will be safety cars. Considering this is the top tier, you've got to back them to not bring out any safety car for tonight's race. Just a previous warning here for myself. The HDMI cable which connects my Xbox One over to my TV is quite jolty. Sometimes I will have to remove it and plug it back in. It does not mean the stream will end, not by any means. It will just mean that we will not be able to see what's on the screen for a good a minute or so. So if that does happen on stream, I will tell you. Do keep that in mind. If there's a battle going on and I don't see it, just blame that on my HDMI cable. 10 seconds until we load into the qualifying session. Who's going to get that key pole position going into the French Grand Prix? We find out right now. From my past experience of commentating at Spa, many of the drivers here on track that I have watched and seen are very talented and love to bring out a good battle for the camera. And I'm sure they'll do just that once more here in a separate circuit of Paul Ricard. Almost an 100-point gap between Stealth and Pavelli for P1 in the standings, but is that gap going to be brought down? It's only a measly 100, but is that gap going to get brought down tonight? And a very key bit of that, or a very key thing playing into that fact, is the fact we have rain here in this qualifying session. Is that going to stop midway? And if it does, are we going to see a massive change, a shift in terms of the lap times? We have to find out later on inside of the qualifying session. But right now, who is going to be the first one to go out on track and set their lap time? Give me 1 second, folks. I've just had a DM from Joshua Meister, which is, of course, the league owner. So give me 1 second as we now spectate Jamie, who is on softs, going through his outlap. So, I am back, folks, as Jamie now, of course, is validating here with the soft compound tyres. He's not afraid to put them on. Waiting to see that I was actually pouring it down here. And, well, if he didn't, that's going to be a critical mistake. I'm assuming everybody else has made the right decision of going on to intermediates. No. Seems like everybody has actually gone on to softs for the qualifying session. As now, Jamie's going to be the first one to set out our lap time here in Paul Ricard in the qualifying session, going into that first turn, especially in such a tricky braking zone, considering it is wet. You have to brake so early, onto the brakes. Going into the right-hander, you want to take as much curb as you can on that inside, take few onto that left-hander. Going into the right-hander, take a little bit of curb here, and just be very, very steady on the throttle if, of course, you have no traction control. And massive blockage there from Pavelli. Is that Pavelli? No, who was that? It was Spectre. And Jamie, because of that, has been spun around dramatically. What are the stewards going to be thinking of that? Surely a penalty is inbound, really, for Spectre going into the Grand Prix. And Stealth, not as stealth stealthily, as his name suggests, has cut a corner, and he has his lap invalidated. Now, who to pick, who to watch? Let's go over to Wee Callum, going into that left-hander, cuts a bit of the chicane. A little bit of chicane here as well, cutting on that inside. You can just see some people like to take a lot of curb on the exit, Some people don't. They prefer to just go around it. It doesn't really put a massive shift in terms of actual the amount of time you gain, time you lose. It doesn't really affect that much. It's just a preference. So we'll see which drivers prefer going onto that curb, which drivers don't. Into the left-hander we go, and it looks like Wee Callum also with full traction control. I'm assuming that's due to the fact that we do have wet rain here. And Jamie, of course, first man to set that lap time, 1:52, easily beats by Noob, who puts a 1:38. Wee Callum comes across the line. Can he beat SRL Adrian's time? He can't. 1:38.811. It's around 6 tenths or so off of Adrian's pace. Definitely not something you want to see. And Soft Floppy actually is able to go provisional pole with a 1:37.6, but Jamie instantly replies 1:37.5. He sets another critical lap time in another qualifying session. The Ferrari and Alfa Romeo coming across the line very shortly. This is Sunrise, P4. Looks like Thomas actually starting a lap time himself. I'm going to go over to FaZe Buddy as he's the next one to come across the line to set a lap time here in this wet France qualifying session. Everybody still going on to these softs. Into the right-hander. Got to be very gentle on the exit. Looks like he's using no traction control, so it's even more difficult for him around this wet circuit. But across the line he comes. What can the Alpine set? 1:38.640 puts him in P5. Going back to Thomas, who we just saw previously starting his lap time. Going on to this massive straight now. Shortly going into the chicane. I mean, what I personally like to do, I like to brake and then just let go of that brake as early as I can. And just follow the racing line, brake early into that right-hander, and then you're able to get yourself the best speed possible mid-corner. On the exit, maybe not so much, which might be where it's most critical, but that's how I prefer to go around that chicane. But it's not about how I prefer it, it's about how Thomas prefers it. And coming into this right-hander, you've got to make sure you're very smooth on the throttle and also the steering, otherwise you do tend to spin or sometimes crash out, depending if there's a car behind you. Into the right-hander they go. Thomas into the left-hander now. Smooth with the brakes, smooth with the throttle once more. Into the right-hander once more. Comparing it to people who have just chose to go full traction, considering the wet rain, how's he going to pair up with it? Across the line Thomas comes. Where's he going to put himself on the map? It's P2. 1:37.637. And he's only a tenth or so off of Jamie's time. And Thomas will be very delighted with that. I expect he's the man who's caused a bit of trouble in this qualifying session so far. We saw him actually spin. I think it was, who was it? It was a man who had a 150 or so because of that. I forget his name. I think it might have been FaZe Buddy. I'm actually not too sure. I'm so sorry. I forgot his name. Oh no, it was Jamie. Jamie XX5566. He was the man who got spun by Spectre, who just refused to get out the way on his first flying lap. Spectre going to be on his flying lap. What can the man in the Aston Martin do? It is invalidated though. And, well, he'll purposely cut some corners as quickly as he can to come back into the pit lane. And now looks like Adama going on to the wet tyres. He's the only man to actually go on these wet tyres. Everybody else has just bothered going on to softs, thrown themselves at the track, see what happens. Let's take a look at Adama. Spectate his lap and see how he pairs up with the soft runners. Let's take a look here at the tyres as well. So as you can see, intermediates were for Jamie when he set his time. And it looks like Adama's going on to these wet tyres. In my opinion, I don't feel like it is ready for wet tyres just yet. feel like intermediates are the right call. There's not particularly too much wet spots on the track. There's just the little dots around the track, which you get if it is intermediate weather. So I do feel like Jimmy's gone for the right call, going onto those intermediate tyres. I feel like the wets are just getting a little bit extreme just yet. But nevertheless, what can Adama do here around the Paul Ricard circuit? Try not to touch the curb on that outside, otherwise you do lose dramatic time on the straight. Shortly going into the left-hander, what can Adama do? Braking so early considering it is wet weather. Now into the right hand as well. Does he ride that curb? Yes, he does. Like I said, people have a preference. You can either go on that curb or don't. It doesn't really affect your time. Adama, though, in the Haskell, going to shortly go into the right-hander, then into that progressive right-hander as well. Braking at that right-hander. Now we'll brake at the second right-hander. Smooth on the brakes, smooth on the throttle. Look at how slow you have to go to make sure your car does not spin. So smooth, and it looks like DRS is enabled, and right at the end of Adama's lap, it's actually gone to dry. So, soft tyres are inbound. Adama's going to peel into the pit lane. Everybody else is going to come out, put on those soft tyres, see what you can do. Looks like Soft Floppy as well has actually done the exact same. And I mean, right at the start of his lap, that's when DRS was finally enabled. So he's going to be the first man to actually set our lap time on softs, and we will obviously know that it's going to be quite a significance between Jamie's time and Soft Floppy's time. Soft Floppy is pretty much guaranteed P1 right now, as you can see, 2.9 seconds off of its previous lap time. I mean, this is so far not something to lose sleep about. He's got so much speed going into that right hander. Comparing that to the wet weather that we saw previously, it just seems so smooth, so quick, so gentle. But here we go, Soft Floppy going to come around the last few turns of the Paul Ricard circuit. What's the standard on the dry tyres? Going to be set by Soft Floppy. Round the last turn, the McLaren what's it going to be? Across the line very shortly. DRS wide open. Across the line. And it's going to be 131.889. Spectre coming across with a 131.943. A Haas car going to come across the line to start a lap time. That's going to be Jamie. We'll go through his lap very shortly. Triple B Power going to go out and set a lap time for himself, but he's invalidated it. Pavelli, the man in P1 so far, inside of the standings. What can he set out on track? Just to see what he can do, maybe extend that gap even further. I mean, of course, by the end of the season, he might just win the championship. I mean, might just win the championship here, comparing to the last few races of the season. He might as well just end it off today and be like, oh, can't be bothered. I'll just end it off today. Easy as you like. But nevertheless, I'm downgrading the absolute absurdity that he's withheld so far this season. Around 100 points to P1 he has to everybody else. Clearly showing some insane pace, but so is Adrian. 130.812, fastest lap so far. He's got provisional pole. Can Pavelli beat that? Across the line he shortly comes. DRS wide open. The Aston Martin across the line, and it's 130.782 across the line. He is provisional pole. But what is Stealth going to say about that? Going through this long and progressive right-hander. Yes, I do call it the long and progressive right-hander, and I will say that throughout all of this commentary stint. So if you have a problem with that, I won't listen to you. Jamie with a 130.702 actually beats out Pavelli's lap time of a 130.782. Stealth going to be across the line. What can Stealth say about Jamie's time? Can he beat the Haas car? The Ferrari round the last turn. Shortly coming across the line. DRS wide open. The Ferrari sets a 130.329. What a lap. And he gets provisional pole by around 4/10. Absolutely fantastic lap time. But Jamie instantly replies 129.529, and he has got provisional pole with around 3 minutes or so left of this qualifying session. Adama going to start a lap time What's that lap time going to set? Is it going to be enough to actually give him the pole position going into the 27 lapper? We'll see quite shortly as people are letting other people go. I'm trying to see what the lap time, what the time left is in the qualifying session. Adama could be blocked here. I mean, his teammate Jamie got massively blocked on his on the first ever lap in this qualifying session. 4 minutes left to go, folks, of this qualifying session. So far, so good for the Mercedes. Mercedes are literally last inside of the constructors, and one of their drivers can be able and might actually get pole in this France qualifying session. Adama, though, what can he say about it? Can he actually perform better than Jamie? We'll see very shortly as he'll come into the third sector. So far, so good for Adama. 50.760, I believe it was, in sector 2. This is looking like a nice, clean, neat and tidy lap time so far from Adama. Where's it going to put him on the map? So quick. Look at Jamie, that lap time, staggering 1:29.529. So far, he has beaten Stealth by, I think, 8/10. That's absolutely unbelievable. As here we go, Adama will come round the last turn. What can the Haskell do in this qualifying session? Pretty much his last run out on track. Where's he going to put himself on the map? Across the line. He's put himself P5, 1:30.802. He's not put himself on pole. New pair going to come round the last turn. What's he going to set? Of course, still has that wet time next to him. Gonna, of course, improve on that. It's not going to be pole by any means. P7, the Alfa Romeo goes. Many people on their outlaps. Adrian is one of those men on outlaps. Adrian, of course, got pole, provisional pole earlier on in the qualifying session, but now with 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so left to go, can Adrian put himself in the spotlight going into the 27 lapper? We'll see. As he's going to end off his outlap shortly, go on to his flying lap. What can he perform? Here we go, Adrian coming into the left-hander. Going to start potentially a very crucial lap time inside of the qualifying session. Jamie's out on an out lap, so he's going to look to improve on his 29.5 very shortly. Adrian across the line to start his lap time. Let's see what he can do. Going into the left-hander, there is a McLaren in front. That is soft floppy. Is he going to actually interfere with Adrian's lap time? I ought to think he won't, as he's P9 currently. So far he's not done particularly great soft floppy. You can just see, yes, he's just letting the Red Bull go. Well done, soft floppy. But look at Adrian, 3/10 up on his first sector. Fantastic lap time from the Red Bull so far. And let's sit back and relax, talk about the weather as he goes down this straight. It's a little bit cloudy, sun's just peeking out. Oh wait, he's going into the chicane, into the left-hander. Adrian goes, now the right-hander onto the exit. Does he ride that curb? Yes, he does. Into the left-hander. Now, does he touch that curb on the inside? He does. Going into this very swift right-hander. What can he perform? Right-hander. Then the long progressive right-hander. Smooth on the throttle. Smooth on the brakes. Here we go. It also needs to be smooth on the steering. He is lagging all over the place for me. It's probably just my awful Wi-Fi. Into the left-hander, though, by Adrian. Adama is perfectly happy with his 1:30.802. Adrian, can he beat that 1:38.2? Or can he actually put himself pole across the line? Adrian will shortly come as he rounds off the last turn. DRS wide open. Across the line, the Red Bull comes. It's P2, 1:30.191. No one has been able to break that deadlock of 1:29. The only man who has been able to do that, of course, is Jamie himself. This is now it. Do or die moments now in this qualifying session. Stealth is the next man to come across the line. He's going through the chicane. Does he ride that curb on the inside? He does. just see. I think that's also an Alfa Romeo. It is 2/10 up on his previous lap time. Right now, he'd only be battling with Adrian for P2. Jamie just seems like he's on another level. He's not even in the top 10 in the standings for Tier 1. But right now, he's in the top 1 of the qualifying section in France. Stealth will shortly come across the line. Can he ever stay in it? Can he actually come across the line and beat out this staggering lap time of Jamie's? Or does he just fall behind? Pavelli falls behind. He's P1 in the standings right now, and he can't even beat Jamie. But can Stealth? Across the line he comes. What's it going to be? 129.9080. It's 4/10 of Jamie's lap time. What a staggering lap time that is from Jamie, and he's improved on it. That's absolutely unbelievable. The Mercedes has pole position going into France. An absolutely unbelievable lap time of a 129.472. And Jamie looks well out of his league. The Mercedes beats out everybody else by 5/10. He beats out the man in P1 in the standings right now by 5.5/10. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jamie for you. What a lap time. That is absolutely unbelievable. And there's everybody else on the grid. Looks like Thomas was the only man who actually didn't improve on his wet lap time. Everybody else, though, improved. But, I mean, just look at that. The top 10 in this qualifying session separated by 1.3 seconds. The top 2 by 5/10. That is absolutely unbelievable by Jamie. I mean, if the Mercedes racing team have a TikTok channel, they're surely going to put that up on there, because that's absolutely unbelievable, Jamie. That is unbelievable. And his debut. He's done that on his debut. It's absolutely world class from him. Is he too quick for GSRL? Well, we'll find out going into Paul Ricard. Is he just the qualifying merchant, or can he replicate it out on the track as well? 25 seconds until we have the formation up. If you want to put in your predictions inside of the Twitch chat, I'm more than happy to read them out and give you my opinions on them. Now I'm here 10 seconds before the players will warm up their tyres and then get ready to go onto those 5 menacing red lights. So Polar Shadow goes with Jamie in P1. And I've got to say, I've got to agree with you. Jamie, that lap time, just you can't beat it. It's absolutely an unbelievable lap time, and I think my game's glitched. I can't. Okay, never mind. It's not glitched anymore. I couldn't hear anything, and there was nothing like this on the screen, so I was very confused for a second. But nevertheless, I would actually agree with you in terms of Jamie actually winning tonight's Grand Prix. Just that he's clearly shown its pace. I mean, why can't he replicate it right now into the race in of itself? Looks like a Ferrari's actually spun their formation lap. It looks like Moores goes with Pavelli actually spinning out. We'll see what the Aston Martin can do. Aston Martin not only leading the championship standings, of course, with Pavelli, but also leading the Constructors' Championship. So we'll see what the Aston Martin can do. Stealth also in P2. The man he's not actually in the top 10 of in the standings, but the pace he had inside of I do not know what's going on in this formation lab. What? Anyways, like I was going to say before, I think it was Adrian just suddenly decided, nope. But Jamie's going to round off this formation lap. I will invite Adrian back. SLR Adrian. And it looks like I have no idea what's going on that track. People are overtaking each other, so it's very odd. I've just invited Adrian back. If he does lag out again, I will just add him back as well, as I've got him added as a friend now. The lineup: Jamie, Stealth, Pavelli, Adrian, Soft Floppy, Sunrise, Jamie, Triple B Power, Wee Callum, Adama, Tobes Jugs, Buddy, Noob, Spectre, Thomas, 5 red lights. Green light, go, go, go. Here in GSRL, into 1 and in Paul Ricard. Fantastic starts for the McLaren Soft Floppy as he beats out the ghosting Adrian, and it looks like an Alpine is inside the wall. I'm not too sure who that was, but they've decked it inside the wall going into the tricky first turn. But now Stealth and Jamie looking to go side by side into the right-hander. The Ferrari, brave on the brakes, and in return is able to get the overtake. Soft Floppy looking to be the next man to queue up for an overtake here. Maybe down the inside into this right-hander. No, he can't look for it. It looks like Jamie overtakes Adrian, sorry. I'm assuming Adrian will be able to rejoin back on track very shortly. But Soft Floppy here looking to gain back as Spectre is round. And he's spinning out on the track here. Not what you want to see if you're an Aston Martin fan, as Adrian is still ghosting on track. We hope that he'll be back with us very shortly. Soft Floppy here, P3 so far, still holding his own here in the McLaren, getting very close here to Jamie, and instantly Stealth has been able to just absolutely pull away from Jamie, and Jamie's used more ERS, so Stealth off those 5 red lights has been much better on the track. Maybe it was just a one-shot qualifying lap from Jamie. Maybe that's all he's meant for. Let's see if he'll actually implement some of that pace, as Adrian actually has joined back with us, thankfully. Out the last turn though, I think Jimmy it's so important that he stays within that DRS. I mean, DRS is so important going on to that massive long straight. Just so key, trying to get an overtake over there, because it's an easy way, it's an easy pass for said overtake. As Adrian messes up that first turn, and Triple B Power is able to capitalise and get a free overtake. As Adrian went from around 5th, around 4th, ghosted, he's now left the session once more. I'm going to have to invite him back again, as Stealth is still winning out of everybody else right now. I'm going to have to invite Adrian back. So just bear with me whilst I do that. But so far, off the start of this Grand Prix so far, we've had some great action-packed content. I'm sure we're going to get more into these next 25 laps or so, as it doesn't seem like there's any shift in the actual grid order through the chicanes, through that long straight hander. I mean, we'll actually look on for that whilst DRS is in play. Buddy is looking to get an overtake on Jamie here just up front. Sunrise looking to do the same with Soft Floppy, but he's not been able to succeed in doing that, and neither has Buddy on Jamie. Looks like Tubbs Jugs. I think he was the man that got round into that first turn, and he's now made another mistake here in the Paul Ricard circuit. Looks like Triple Power and Noob going side by side here. Into the left-hander they go. Now into the last turn of the circuit. They're still too oppressed. Going on to the exit. Still side by side no longer. As Noob's able to get a much better exit and is able to climb up the ranks into P10. DRS finally enabled on this lap as Anima almost goes round onto that tricky second turn. This is where it's so key for Jamie to try and just implement that DRS going on to this straight. Of course, Stealth won't have any himself, as he's got no one ahead of him. And he's absolutely burnt out the ERS for him. burnt it all out. But he's not been able to actually build up that key 1 second gap. And now here we go. Jamie and FaZe Buddy finally get their side-by-side action, but it's quickly cut off as Jamie is able to be brave on the brakes into the second turn of that chicane. But here comes both the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo to get 3 wide going into the right-hander. It looks like Thomas brung out the most pace out of the 3 of them, and it looks like he got the overtake as we went 3 wide into that massive right-hander. Absolutely fantastic stuff as an Alpine, a Haskar and an Alfa Romeo go 3 wide. Fantastic. I need to invite Adrian one more time. I have done quite a lot. But I've just spammed the button of just invite. So we'll see if that does anything. Looks like FaZe Buddy wants a little bit more of Jamie. Wants to give him a piece of his mind, but he's not able to get the overtake on the Haskar. Well, it seems like despite the DRS coming into play, it's actually not had much of an effect so far into this race. You can just see Sunrise getting closer. Also, up ahead with Jamie. FaZe Buddy doesn't get close enough to look for an overtake going into that chicane. Into the right-hander once more. We're going to get another 3 wide moment between these 3. I don't think we will. Here's Sunrise getting very close to Soft Floppy. Looks like Soft Floppy's actually got without DRS so far. Pavelli has actually dropped down so many positions. He's in the P8 right now in this Grand Prix. He's got the overtake round the outside though of FaZe Buddy going into that right-hander. And Jamie has gotten very close here to Stealth now. He might look for it actually going down into the last turn of the circuit. Let's take a look at what the Mercedes will do. Won't look to go down the inside onto the exit. We'll have that DRS. Is he going to look at going down into the first turn? We'll see very shortly. Does he use any of his DRS? He doesn't. He's relying solely on that DRS. Weaving down the straight going into the first turn. He doesn't look for it. We'll still keep an eye on Jamie though. Going into that right-hander. FaZe Buddy getting very close here to Pavelli. Can he get an overtake on the championship leader? I don't think he can just yet. And going down into the right-hander, that downhill right-hander, very tricky braking zone. Doesn't seem like he'll get close enough to look for an overtake just yet. But this is where it really counts here, onto this straight. This is where DRS is so important, so key. DRS wide open, going onto the straight. Can he get close enough to get an overtake here on the Ferrari? Getting closer and closer and closer. Doesn't go for it though, does not have the bravery to go side by side through there, but Adama is brave enough to go side by side with Sunrise. He's not able to get to the better exit out of the first turn, and therefore does not get the overtake. Using that slipstream though, going into this right-hander, can he get close enough for an overtake? No, he can't. But Jamie, look how close he is to Stealth. Can he look for it? Going into the right-hander here, into this long progressive right-hander, taking that inside line. There goes the Mercedes side by side with the Ferrari right now for P1 in this Grand Prix. Looks like Stealth with the better exit and defense is P1 only for now though. Going into the last turn of the Grand Prix very shortly. Can he get the overtake? Oh, well, last turn of the track I should rather say. Will he look for it here? No, he won't. Can he get the better exit? Looks like he actually might here, as it looks like Stealth just taking that more inside line. Didn't work out for him, and Jamie is just going to breeze past ERS, DRS, and the Ferrari obeys the pace of the Mercedes, and Jamie is into P1 of this Grand Prix. But yet again, that key DRS, such a key factor, as there's a DNF and it's FaZe Buddy inside of the pit lane. But Stealth, such a key factor that DRS, surely he'll get the overtake very shortly. Adama gets an overtake here on Sunrise. Around the outside he went, but very tricky to make it land. Looks like he just has to rejoin the track as he did go wide into the left-hander. Look at how close you get on that DRS. You can just see Jamie's, he's got so much more ERS than Stealth does. Stealth was just burning out that ERS, trying to build up that 1 second gap He wasn't able to, and Jamie, was able to reply with an overtake. Stealth, though, looking to re-overtake, looking to do the exact same thing that Jamie did to him. And I don't want to alarm anybody, but it does look like we have a few clouds in the sky. Potentially later on in the Grand Prix we could see some rain, but we're not too sure of that at the moment. But yeah, you can see it. There are some significant clouds in the sky. So we'll see shortly if that means there will be any rain or not. For the driver's sake, we hope not, but for entertainment factor, we hope there is. You can just see, Jamie's actually not done particularly well in terms of keeping his car in between the white lines. I saw him into that first turn once more, actually going wide, so I'm assuming he's on 2 warnings or so, and well, if he does get one more warning, there'll be a very early penalty for the Mercedes, and that will be very crucial to his Grand Prix. But what else is extremely crucial to a Grand Prix is DRS, and now Stealth will get it once more going down the straight. DRS wide open. Can he get close enough to look for an overtake? I don't think he will. I just think it's on the exit of that chicane where it really matters for him. Into the chicane we go. And now out of the chicane we go. Stealth versus Jamie for P1 so far of the Grand Prix. It just doesn't seem like Stealth gets close enough. He just can't do it. As his teammate though. Sunrise. More like sunset, as he has to settle for P9. As now he's battling a man with also a time penalty, which is Wee Callum. You can just see, maybe Triple B Power looking for that inside line there into the right hander where we saw Jimmy look for an overtake, wasn't able to get it, but then use that DRS, use that ERS going into the first turn and was able to get an easy overtake, really. Now you can just see Stealth is getting increasingly difficult to keep within that DRS. And Sunrise has DNF from the Grand Prix. I think he just peeled into the pit lane. He said, I've had enough. And he's out of the Grand Prix. Well, Jamie here, very quick lad. Clearly showcasing that. Stealth, DRS going to be wide open for him down this straight. Can he get close enough for an overtake? Yet again, burning out his ERS. He's desperate to get this P1 back. But when you get desperate, you start to lose some focus, and so key in the Grand Prix like this, where you just need that focus. You need to be you need to persevere. Spectre there with the fastest lap time of the Grand Prix so far, 1:32.7. Jamie though, he's just looking behind his shoulder. He's going, oh god, this Ferrari's getting increasingly close. I've got to try and gap him now. Triple B Power sends it on Wee Callum. Maybe a potential battle forming between these two as Wee Callum wants to go down the inside on the... Oh, that's very dangerous there from Triple B Power. Just instantly cuts it off. Could have ended in a very severe clash. And is the gap going to be too far-fetched for DRS? No, Stealth able to keep it just under 1 second. Hello, the 10 lucky viewers watching the French Grand Prix here live on Twitch. Follow us here on Twitch. You can also follow us on TikTok to keep you updated on new racing content. Into the right hander. Stealth looking to get closer to Jamie. DRS going to be wide open now. Adrian, 3-second time penalty. That is, of course, for multiple warnings. Like I said earlier, Jamie does seem to have some of those multiple warnings. He's got to be careful of those. Noob looks very close here to Jamie, looking for that inside lane going into the chicane. Maybe a switchback is in order for the Alfa Romeo. He's going to get the better exit. Can he get the overtake? Looking for the outside line. It's Alfa Romeo versus Haskar Into the right-hander we go, and Noob just seems to get the easy overtake round the outside. No questions asked by Jamie, and he's up into P7. Stealth on the exit of the last turn. Just doesn't seem like it's kind of the long straight, then chicane, the exit of that chicane where he gains time, and that is a very dangerous move centre track. I'm not too sure if it's allowed or not, but that's Pavelli. No, it's not. It's actually Spectre's AI, so apologies for that. But nevertheless, I mean, actually just resetting the track or whatever it's not dangerous, but it can just jump at the drivers, and all of a sudden they lose massive amount of focus and whatnot. So if you are a driver listening to this, don't reset the track. Otherwise, I'm assuming you will get a penalty for it. If not, just still don't do it, because it's just unfair on the drivers behind. Looks like Jamie, though, equally getting close here to Noob. The Haskell and Alfa Romeo have been going at it for a few laps now. Are they going to have another battle commencing very shortly? We'll see. Into the right-hander. Onto the exit. Into the other right-hander they go. It doesn't seem like Jamie's going to get close enough to look for an overtake. We'll flick back to them later on, and we'll see if they have a battle for P7 very shortly. But still, we focus on this battle, this top 3 battle potentially for P1, as Soft Floppy is actually now in the equation for a potential victory here. Noob and Pavelli actually gonna go ahead and go side by side. No, Noob actually peels into the pit lane. I'm assuming it's gonna be pitting onto for those hard set compound tyres. And it is, so just a switching strategy there for Noob. Stealth into the left-hander on the exit. DRS wide open. Doesn't seem like he's going to get close enough. On the exit of that chicane, doesn't seem like he's going to get closer. Doesn't seem like there's much action here on the 11th lap. Just people trying to keep within the gaps, including Thomas. Adama, of course, not going to have that DRS, and this might not be a fair battle as Thomas goes down the inside of the Haskell, the Alfa Romeo versus the Haskell, and it looks like that is a very clean manoeuvre. Thomas on the exit just cuts off the Haskell and is able to move up into P4 of the Grand Prix so far, but Adama is looking to get the re-overtake. He's adamant to get it, you could say. That wasn't funny. I apologise, but big news! It looks like Stealth has not actually been able to keep it under 1 second, and Tom Jugs gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, and now he's DNF'd. He said, I've had enough. I've had enough, lad. I'm done. Adama getting into the pit lane for those hard set compound tyres. Looks like Stealth, has he got that DRS going down into the straight? I don't think he does. And Soft Floppy, how close is he going to get to potentially get an overtake here on Stealth? You could say it was a long time coming actually for Stealth to not get that DRS down the straight. It didn't really seem like he had the pace to actually battle up, have a fair fight with Jamie. Just, it didn't seem like he had the pace to keep it under 1 second. And a battle for P2 could be commencing very shortly with Stealth and Soft Floppy. Seems like Adrian's getting really close here to Wee Callum. Of course, the one Mercedes out of 2, and well, Of course, the other Mercedes being much more successful, than we Callum. And Adrian, you know, has had some problems in this Grand Prix in terms of just actually staying in the lobby. Has had a few glitches of just leaving the session. I've had to invite him back a couple of times. We'll see though if he can go down the inside of Callum shortly. Let's see. It might be that everybody's actually now transitioned onto the hardset compound tyres, which they have. I don't necessarily feel like it's time for people to go into the pit lane for these new mediums. I feel like 15th lap is kind of the area where you get into the pit lane, put on those mediums, get back out, get some racing going. Looks like soft floppy here. I mean, you can just see Stealth instantly. That gap's grown from 1 or so seconds. It's now gone to 1.5, and that's clearly showcasing that Jamie, I mean, he might be well out of his league here in Tier 1. I mean, the man had a 5/10 gap for P1 for pole position going into the qualifying session, which is absolutely unmatched. Into the Miranda. You can just see on the exit here, Callum, you can't get an overtake. It's got a little three-way battle here for P7. And Adrian here, he's getting quite close to Callum, but it does not seem like he is able to look for an overtake just yet. Still just trying to catch up, look for that overtake when they can. Just seems like mostly a 5/10 gap, which is kind of like I can't really get close enough. I'm just gonna have to keep this 5/10 gap until I actually can. Of course, not a mindset you want to actually bring into a Grand Prix like this, but some people have had to unfortunately implement it. Soft Floppy definitely cutting that turn there. He's got to be careful. And, well, if he doesn't, of course, he will receive a 3-second time penalty. DRS going to be wide open down the straight. It just seems like Soft Floppy has backed off of his ERS usage, which he did use to get this gap originally. But now, after, you know, that gap has actually got here, doesn't seem like he's been using it as much, and therefore you could say not actually getting close enough for an overtake on Stealth. Speaking of Stealth, he's now 2 seconds behind Jamie now. So, yeah, really fast Jamie is. And the only thing I'd say that would actually put Jamie in danger of not keeping his P1 right now is a spin, and that's practically it. 3/10 is the gap now to Callum and Triple B Power. Of course, they had a little, well, Callum had a look, and it looks like Jamie and Stealth here, it looks like Stealth are just actually peeling into the pit lane, thought they were actually had a battle, or somebody slipped their car and just gone round. Looks like Stealth's looking for an undercut on Jamie. We'll see how that works for him, considering he does have less pace. Peeling into the pit lane is Triple B Power, but Adrian is not. DRS wide open for Adrian. Can he get an overtake on the Mercedes now, with, of course, Callum not getting his DRS? Just, you know, 3 seconds is the gap, Jamie. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You can just see this is the only gap which is within 1 second so far, considering everybody is just in the pit lane. Here we go, into the left-hander. Adrian going to have that DRS and ERS in his locker to potentially get an overtake here on the Mercedes. Look at the pace he's got on the Merc. Red Bull versus Mercedes here in the French Grand Prix. Down the inside, the Red Bull goes of the Mercedes. Callum, though, potentially looking for a switchback, but Adrian just sits on the racing line and is able to get the overtake for P6. I mean, granted, he's got that 6-second time penalty, but you never know. Callum can also get 6 seconds on his name, and I think actually having to. Well, it looks like Jamie's now into the pit lane. Soft Floppy into the pit lane as well. I think everybody now is pitting, except for an Aston Martin. That's Pavelli. He's staying out for a couple of laps or so. How's the undercut for Stealth going to work? I don't think he's going to actually achieve this undercut. Everybody else coming into the pit lane, of course, except for Stealth. Mercedes still into the pit lane. On the exit, can Stealth get the undercut? Can he get it done and dusted here? Stealth versus... No, it's not going to happen, is it? Jamie just coming out of the pit lane. Easy as you like. Practically did nothing for him. And, well, yeah, he actually lost time due to that. Well, actually, no, he hasn't, but... I mean, granted, Jamie's got those cold tires, so you've got to try and nurse that back in, those tires, try and get it more warmer. So you could say that Stealth is still within chance of getting in that 1 second gap. The man who is within a 1 second gap, though, is Adama. He's looking to get past Thomas. Gonna have that DRS, ERS down there straight, easy as you like. The Haskar having also that slipstream in his locker. Looking to pull alongside with the Alfa Romeo. He does. He's now ahead and cuts him straight off going into the chicane. Easy as you like. Easy overtake for Adama. Thomas looking to come right back at him here, potentially on the exit. Using a little bit of that ERS, and now look at how much that's played a factor here and getting close and closer to this Haskar. He's going to look for it, going down the inside into the progressive right-hander here. Haskar versus Alfa Romeo. Thomas versus Adama. And it looks like they're still side by side. Going on to the exit, going into the left-hander. Haskar braver on the brakes, and it looks like Thomas just has to sit behind, and Adama successfully defends his P5 at the moment. Looks like peeling into the pit lane is Pavelli. I don't think the overcut was ever going to work. And it looks like he's actually going to lose some positions now for that. So really not the right call. But it's Thomas looking for the overtake here of Adama. Looking to go side by side into the first turn. No contact made between the two of them. Adama's looking to come right back at him here. Thomas just going to be like a sitting duck onto the exit. Adama pulling alongside. Going into the right-hander. Neither of them backs out of it, and they're still too abreast. Going into the next right-hander here. This is absolutely fantastic racing between the two of them. Haskell versus Alfa Romeo once more. What a battle this is. They're still side by side going into the left-hander. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like Thomas has that DRS into play. Doesn't use his ERS as just as much, and Adama has to pull behind once more. What a fantastic battle between the two men. Absolutely fantastic racing. And Thomas is finally able to get the re-overtake. Jamie, 3-second time penalty. Adrian getting very close to Triple B power hit. Doesn't seem like he's going to get close enough. Into the right-hander. The Williams might be a sitting duck into the progressive right-hander here, maybe around the outside. No, he's not. So, oh, this is very dangerous. Contact between the two of them. It was written in the stars, let's be honest. And they're side by side going into the right-hander. Big mistake by Adrian there, unless he's looking for a switchback, which was never going to work. He's going to get the better exit, though, going into the left-hander, then into the final turn. Is he going to look for it down the inside here? Might be getting a little bit impatient. Maybe looking for a better exit, but he's not going to get it with that type of cornering. Soft Floppy is able to get it back under 1 second, and now he has the DRS in his locker. You can just see both Stealth and Soft Floppy practically on the exact same ERS usage. You can see just burning it out. And it looks like Triple B power has actually spun in that first turn. Such a tricky turn to try and get right. And it's actually caught out Triple B power. He's now a victim of that devilish first turn. Soft Floppy here. He's 6/10 the gap to Stealth up ahead. Into the right hand up. Now into the next one. Can he get the overtake on Stealth? It has been in question for quite some time. Can there finally be an answer? Looks like Wee Callum did pick up another 3 seconds, so that battle for P9 is officially a real battle now. Here we go though, DRS wide open, going onto the exit, that final turn for Soft Floppy. He's not able to get close enough for a move going down into the first turn. 1 hour of the stream so far, and what a race this has been. Plenty of action, side-by-side action, especially with Thomas and Adama. Fantastic battle between the two of them. Seems like Adama now has just had to fall back behind, considering he's on the hard set compound tyres. And looks like Pavelli's trying to get an overtake on him, but Soft Floppy's looking to get an overtake on Stealth. DRS wide open, he's not going to use his ERS. I think he's rather just waiting for Stealth to just burn all that ERS out, and he's actually have 5% ERS and a 3-second time penalty for Stealth. And Soft Floppy has got his P2. Doesn't need to overtake Stealth, but yeah, again, it is much more satisfying to get the P2 on track. Pavelli looking for the overtake on Adama, has that ERS in play. You see, this is why I don't particularly like going from mediums to hards, because you get stuff like this, where people just eat you alive with the much better grip with the mediums near the end of the Grand Prix. And like I always say, it's the end of a race that counts rather than the start. No safety cars out so far. Very 2/10 the gap is to Adama now, and you can just see the red light flashing for Adama. DRS on the exit, ERS being used as well. Here we go. Pavelli moves to the outside lane. They're side by side going into the first turn. No contact made between the two of them, but a tiny bit of contact is made on the exit of that second turn, but it's not fatal, and they're luckily both able to survive damage and spinach. Into the right-hander they go, though. Now here comes the straight. You can just see Soft Floppy's getting so much more closer now to Stealth, due to that just ERS being burnt out. A man who's also burnt out his ERS is Pavelli, but also Adama. And now here comes Pavelli. Pascal versus Aston Martin. Into the chicane they go. Pavelli, brave on the brakes on the outside lane, gets a better exit of the second turn of 2 in that chicane, and is able to get the overtake up into P5 of the Grand Prix so far. But Adama looking to come straight back at him here, going into the right-hander. Is he close enough to look for an overtake down the inside of Pavelli? Yes, he can, but can he stick it? Can he stick it? Down the inside, Adama goes. He's not brave enough, and therefore Adama is able to keep the gap at 2/10. And we can sending it down the inside here of Adrian. Mercedes versus Red Bull. Side by side they are. Side by side no longer. Oh no, never mind. They are side by side now. We can no, they're side by they're not side by side anymore. They're depriving us of racing content. Down the inside here from We Callum. No. DRS on the exit. But Soft Floppy's got 3/10 or so now to Stealth. Here we go. DRS. Can he close this gap down just enough to look for an overtake? Going into the chicane. He's barely even gaining time. He won't get an overtake going into that chicane. He just has to sit back for now. DRS come into play here for Adama on Pavelli. He's just burning out that ERS usage. We Callum now going to get that DRS on the Red Bull. Adrian previously overtaking We Callum. We Callum looking to go right back at him. Into the left-hander they go. Now back into the right-hander. Right to the curb on the exit. Not going to get the overtake. Not with that kind of exit. 21st lap of 27, and so far so good for Jamie. He's just been absolutely cruising at the top, especially with that comfortable 3-second time penalty to Stealth. And Jamie right now is leading well, not the championship, but leading the race. Pavelli, the man who's actually leading the championship, slipping down into P5 right now. Stealth is the man behind Pavelli for P2. If Soft Floppy does, of course, get a 3-second time penalty, then this is a fair battle. Sorry if you heard that. My desk chair is quite squeaky sometimes. Need to put some WD-40 on it. Wee Callum gonna get close here on the Red Bull. Adrian. He's not gonna get an overtake just yet. He's getting a little bit aggressive now. He really wants to get this overtake, and you can just see his kind of aggression here. Just almost went straight into the back of the Red Bull. ERS, wide open. Wee Callum on Adrian. Can he get the overtake on the Red Bull? Around the outside, potentially no. Switchback could be in order for the Mercedes. Can he get it? Oh, hit the back of the Red Bull. And because of it, Adrian has spun. And that's surely going to be a time penalty there for Wee Callum. And that's what I said earlier, the eagerness of Wee Callum getting the better of him. And because of that, Adrian has spun. Soft Floppy still not able to get past Stealth. I'm going to actually check the race director. Hoping it doesn't make me full fatal. And it looks like Soft Floppy here. Few the lap times. 1 warning. And that's it. He's going to get 2 more warnings. And then he'll get that 3-second time penalty. Adrian DNFing in the pit lane. He said, I've had enough. If Soft Floppy can keep his cool, he will get P2 in the Grand Prix. But that P3 for Stealth is definitely not something to lose sleep over. But Pavelli, for him to lose this 100-point gap for the championship for the next few rounds, I mean, it would have to be the biggest bottle job of all time. Soft Floppy here, he's getting very close to Stealth into the technical sectors. He's just been saving up so much ERS on Stealth. Surely it will come into play very shortly and he'll get the overtake for P2 in the Grand Prix. Adama though, due to the mediums actually wearing out later on in the Grand Prix, the hards are slightly the better tyre, I say at the moment, which is why Adama's been able to actually keep under that 1 second gap to Pavelli. But I much prefer going hards to mediums, get the hards over, done with, then swift onto those mediums, and then potentially just get easy overtakes on some of those who actually go from mediums to hards. Onto the exits. DRS wide open. Looks like there's a spin, and that's going to be Thomas. He joins the circuit right ahead of Pavelli. Pavelli looking to get past. Is there going to be any contact between the two of them? No, there isn't. And it looks like Adama's going to get that double slipstream effect. Going into the chicane, he's got a front row seat of Pavelli versus Thomas. Into the chicane they go. Looks like the Aston Martin braver on the brakes. Alfa Romeo looking to get the switchback manoeuvre on the Aston Martin. Can he get the better exit? He does get the better exit. They're side by side between the two of them now. Going into the right-hander. Looks like Pavelli just has to back out of it. Be down the inside. Pavelli looks to go. He's not going to get it though. Maybe Thomas just holding up Pavelli, and then potentially Adama can get that overtake. Well, Soft Floppy has still not been able to get the overtake on Stealth. But I don't think that necessarily matters for him right now. Currently, what just matters is just getting that P2. And if he stays in P3 like he is right now, he will get it. And it looks like Adama has still been able to keep within that that DRS. And now you can see the gap over to Stealth and Soft Floppy. It's just decreasing bit by bit by bit. I mean, Soft Floppy might just burn out all of his ERS in the last lap, see if he can just get past, but there's no real point. I mean, the only reason why he'd even get past Stealth is to just simply catch up to Jamie, which is just not on the cards right now. Whoa, Soft Floppy being a little bit eager to try and get past. He's not going to do what Wee Callum did, surely not. He's going into the back of the car in front, done and dusted. DRS going to be wide open on the exit. And now Soft Floppy's still looking to get the overtake on Stealth when he shouldn't really. Just having a nice time. Gonna get an easy P2. Going on to the straight though. Can he get close enough to look for an overtake? Is he gonna burn out his ERS or is he just not gonna bother? Doesn't bother. Just, yep, calm, cool, relaxed. Get an overtake, job done. Pavelli looking to actually get out of that DRS zone of Thomas actually. He's just burning everything he can. And so is Anima, to be fair. Looks like that gap's built up to 4 seconds now to Jamie. And Jamie's had a perfect Grand Prix so far. Ooh. Soft Floppy though, that's a big mistake onto the right hand, the left hander, sorry. Still able to get 4/10. But now, as we flick onto the 27th lap out of 27 inside of the short qualifying session, when it was raining heavily at the start, multiple people step out on the track, performed their wet and soggy lap times, went back into the pit lane, got changed out onto those red and menacing red soft tyres, brought out their dry lap times, and well, most of them seemed pretty quick in our eyes, but this man was just on another level in that qualifying session with a 127.472. The man called Jamie qualified 5/10 over Soft Floppy. It was an absolutely staggering lap time and one that I'm sure not only will Mercedes be proud of, but also himself. Going into the race in of itself, he got overtaken by Stealth early on in the Grand Prix, but he was able to be resistant. He fought back bravely later on into lap 5, into lap 6, and now he is being rewarded for his fantastic effort, and he will now sweep through the last few turns of the Paul Ricard circuit. A mini celebration happening inside of his warm heart as he goes round the last turn. And CPI, Jamie comes round the last turn to win the French Grand Prix. A fantastic race from Jamie and the Mercedes racing team as they emphatically win. And 25 points go home to Mercedes. They are last in the championship right now. Some very key points on the board for not only Jamie himself, but also for Mercedes. Soft Floppy was able to get an overtake whilst I was blabbering on about Jamie going into that long, massive straight and then going into the chicane. Was able to get the overtake and take P2. Stealth 3-second tyre penalty, but still was able to keep P3, gaining time on Pavelli, who finished P4. Adama finished P5 and Thomas finished P6. Jamie P7, Noob P8, Weak Allen P9, Triple P Power comes across the line very shortly for P10 and rounds off a fantastic race here in Paul Ricard. Plenty of action, plenty of content brought to you here live on Twitch. I'll say this for the last time, you can follow us here right on Twitch or follow us here on TikTok, the same username for all of them. We hope you enjoyed your special time watching Tier 1 here in France, in Paul Ricard. Thank you very much for watching and dropping by. Give us a follow. It will be very appreciated. But now here comes the man who, well, was just absolutely fantastic. Separated the good drivers to the great. And he will hoist up the silver trophy here in France. And, well, we have a new man on the blocks who is extremely quick. So there you go. That's your race here in Tier 1 done and dusted. Some time penalties here and there, but in of itself was quite a clean Grand Prix. Only one major moment where it was Wee Callum actually spinning Adrian. But there you go, folks. That is a fantastic race in of itself. Join us next week for some more Tier 1 action at the exact same time as today. I've been your host and commentator, Silent Pistol. You'll have a fantastic night. Good night.